I'm looking at some potential setups on Aussie dollar pairs, starting on Aussie dollar and working through to some crosses. Now, it's been quite a mixed performance for the last couple of weeks and volatility is lower, and that means we need to keep our expectations in check without a fresh catalyst. That said, we are starting the week on the back foot with a little bit of risk off coming through due to war in the Middle East kicking off once again, specifically between US and Iran. With that said, let's take a look at some of these setups. We've got a clear downtrend on the Aussie dollar chart with a series of lower lows and lower highs. What I really like is we've got a potential three-wave counter trend move, and it's already losing steam. We can see last Friday we had this shooting star reversal candle around the 20-day average, so momentum's being lost, which suggests it might try to come back down towards this 200-day exponential moving average or the 69-cent handle. That said, it's called the battle for a reason, and it doesn't give up easily. That does still leave the potential here for moving up towards 70 cents, where you've got the big round number itself just above the monthly pivot point. We've also got this June 11th low. So if we do get some risk off sentiment blowing through, I suspect that this will be a much more reliable resistance zone, and that could actually end up providing a better reward risk ratio for bears looking for movement towards that 200-day average. Now, if things do really escalate and sentiment really tanks, then I think we're looking for a move below 69 cents with June low coming in. But there is quite a lot of support down here for the March low. So I'm not looking for a significant rolling over because this move is already quite established, but there are near-term risks to the downside. The Aussie yen has held up surprisingly well despite the surge of the yen last week, but that doesn't mean it can't go lower over the near term. I like that we've got this quite congested zone here where prices have stalled beneath the monthly pivot point and they're hovering around the 20 and 50-day averages. Momentum is trying to move lower. Again, I'm not looking for massive movement here, but if we do get any spikes towards last week's highs, I think bears are probably lurking to try and get it down towards the 115 area. Now, the pound Aussie is an interesting one. It's clearly in an uptrend, but it is making hard work of these extra gains. Back on the 2nd of July, we had this shooting star candle, and so far prices have failed to break above it. Even if it manages to, we've got the monthly pivot point and 200-day simple moving average around that March high. So I think this is one for bears to keep an eye on. It might not be the perfect timing right now, but again, just looking for any false moves or reversal candles around these highs could be the final clue we need for a pullback. Again, not looking for a massive move to the downside here, but if you look at this trend, it would appear that we are potentially moving towards a period where it does need to pull back over the near term, looking at these two cycle highs with a third one hopefully on the horizon. And if we just quickly look at the weekly charts, notice that on these 3 weeks, each week's rally has got smaller, and it's got this shooting star, very small candle last week, and the 200-week exponential moving average is also capping over resistance. So there's a pretty solid case here for technical resistance, stemming any breakout over the near term. Euro Aussie seems to be the exception, but it is one of the few that shows potential for strength for the Aussie over the near term. It's not the nicest of uptrends because you've got quite deep pullbacks, but we can see that prices have drifted back towards the 50 and 20 exponential moving averages, and prices are trying to hold above that monthly pivot point. Now, I think price is a little bit choppy at the start of this week, so we might want to hang back a little bit. But if prices can hold above Monday's low or today's low, then maybe bulls could be treated to a movement higher with a break above 165, opening up a run towards the highs around 166. Aussie CAD's another interesting one because it's essentially in a sideways range and it's making quite hard work of gains within that range. Notice how it's bouncing around the monthly pivot point, but as of today, it's on track for a bearish outside day already. So if we get some movements towards that monthly pivot point, maybe the next move could be to the downside, whether it be these range lows or the April low near the monthly S1 pivot point. As always, hope this is useful. Wish you best of luck with your trading.